From Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square in Fort Worth, Texas, this is the Grandpa and Pappy Show.
By God.
Indeed, indeed. Welcome into another edition of the Grandpa and Pappy Show. We're really happy you guys took time out of your day to join us today. Got a good show coming up for you. Before we get into the show, we want to give you a little update. A couple of weeks ago, we had been talking up to that point about burgers for babies, and we did have the function that went on, and what a great success it was. We had a lot of folks there. We raised a lot of money, even though the final tally has not been released yet because they're still collecting money off of it. But at last...
Should be in excess of $100K, huh?
Well, it's going to be real close. Going into the event itself, they had raised $85,000, which is more than any other time that this event has been held.
But that made Sweet Jackie smile.
Oh, absolutely, from heaven. And everybody went all out to make sure this one was great. Hats off and kudos to the River Ranch at the Stockyards. What a great facility. Boy, if you ever want to have a wedding reception, anything like that, this is the place to go. Their staff is terrific. And they really did all they could to make sure that this event went over very smoothly, and it did. Pappy was a little bit under the weather, so he couldn't make it. And then about an hour and a half before it started, I lost my voice almost totally, completely, for some unknown reason. But the guys in the band fixed me up a microphone and jacked the volume up, and we got it done. The voice wasn't there, the spirit was. So.
The only standing ovation that was received that night, I'm sure.
And before we move on, I want to give a big kudos and shout out to our viewer, Bridget Goddard, who has a aesthetics salon in South Lake, for stepping up to be one of our corporate sponsors of the event. Donating over $5,000 worth of services, and not to mention all the money she spent at the event itself. So, Bridget, thank you very, very much, and we appreciate.
Your business is Pure Indulgence.
Yeah, Pure Indulgence Aesthetics in South Lake. So, thank you, Bridget, very, very much. And for those of you who were able to make it, we thank you. I got to meet some of our viewers out there who came up to me and introduced themselves, and we heard from one of them that we'll tell you about in our viewer comments. But it was a great event. Thank you very much. I'm sure that Jackie Cohen is a very happy lady and looking down from heaven and smiling, that big, beautiful smile of hers.
And all them beautiful babies that she's helping out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, we are going to get into the thrux of our program today. We were asking, and actually Special K came up with this question. One night sitting out on the patio, she said, it'd be a good topic for the show. I said, what? And she said, pet peeves. What are some of your pet peeves? I mean, you hear all of us. Boy, that's a pet peeve of mine.
I have too many to list.
I do too. I guess the biggest pet peeve I have is people not using their turn signals. You have no idea where they're going, and what they're wanting to do. I'll let somebody in anytime if I know what you're going to do.
Just act right. Yeah.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves, that and open cabinets. I can't tell you how many times I've hit my legs on open cabinets.
These are things that I can all get over, but one thing that I can't get around, it just really pops my cork, so to speak, is people getting into your business when they don't know what the hell they're talking about and knowing wholeheartedly they don't have a damn bit of business being involved in your business.
I heard that.
Came across that here just recently.
I heard that.
I won't bring that up.
Well, there you go. Well, let's take a look at what some of you had to say about pet peeves out there, and we got some good ones actually. Sandy Layla Armistead said it's people not doing what they should.
Good.
Jim Krause told us it was rude people, and Melanie Renee Sisk says it's smacking at the dinner table or anywhere by me. I can relate to that. I really can.
I've got a good friend that I used to work with. And of course, we had to do lunch together because we was out and about on the streets all day. And he smacked. But problem was he was 6'8".
So you
And I wasn't going to say a word to him about it.
I can't blame you on that one.
He put the thump on my head like, Dad, you dink. Phyllis Cook told us for her it is liars. And Brett Barker said it's people who make it a point to get into your business. I'm with you there, Brett. Brent Hardy said for him it's poor grammar and spelling.
Mm-hmm. Leslie Murphy Pruitt said it was stupidity and incompetence. People that do not use the proper form of there, and there, and do not know when to use then and then.
Well, we are in Texas.
Yeah. Well, just go around some of the Quakers, the these and thous and those.
Oh, yeah.
And Leslie probably go crazy.
I'm surprised I didn't wind up in trouble up northeast over that very thing.
I heard that.
Jen Earnhardt told us that it is when you're getting ready to tell someone news from any life and someone else has already told them. Kate Gray said it's inefficiency, and Marla Purley says it's dirty clothes and dishes.
Mm-hmm. Some people do. I mean, that drives people nuts.
A sink full of dirty dishes makes me crazy. Not crazy enough to wash them, but
I heard that.
just crazy enough to bitch about it. You know?
Yeah. James Gordon said that one is easy. It's a drunk at the bar who is loud and obnoxious and who makes it hard for other people to enjoy their drink or to talk. That's why I seldom go to a bar anymore, because there is always one there. Okay? I can relate to that. I understand.
I can too, in many different ways.
Yeah.
And here's one from my number 2 son, Jordan. Said it's anything that someone is doing out of stupidity that impedes on my life in a negative manner.
There you
And
go.
I'm right there with you, son. That drives me crazy too. Alan Moppet says for him it's ice chomping. And Michelle Alexander said it's people with pet peeves. Is my pet peeve.
That's true. What you got there, Kay
You know
Bird?
what my pet peeve is?
What's that?
Chewing gum.
Chewing gum, yeah.
I hate chewing gum. And it's so unattractive for a pretty girl to be chomping on a piece of chewing gum.
You know, the
Just
only time I don't like chewing gum is when I step on it.
When it's in my hair.
Or when you sit
Yeah.
down at a table at a restaurant and you accidentally put your hand underneath the table to move yourself, and there's a big old wad there.
Ew. That is gross.
Let's see here. Mary Adams Childers says for her it's Democrats. Yeah. Eddie Dixon said it is some snot-nosed brat that's like 25 or 30 years younger than me, telling me what I can or can't say in public. I hate that. You're a snowflake or a millennial and you want to tell me how to talk and how to speak. You're not going to do it, and if you don't call me sir or my wife ma'am, you don't deserve the same air as I breathe, so you better know your place.
By God.
All right.
Leslie Rosenthal said it's people telling me I look this or that way. People say that I look like I'm angry, yet they're not using my brain. Only I know what's going on upstairs until I speak it. I mean, I don't like Fabio, but I'm thinking I do. Yeah, you think I look mad even when I'm sitting here bored. Yeah, people talk about my appearance, but I'm looking like I do because I am humble.
There you go. Being humble. I
By
love it.
God.
And Donna Briggs Moss says it's people using God's name in vain and thinking OMG isn't. Tiffany Miller told Donna she is turning OMG into oh my goodness. And Cindy Gale Roberts Thomas said that is what I've done and it comes naturally to me now.
But we know what you mean.
Yes.
By God.
We do.
Jerry Williamson said it is Sleepy Joe whenever he opens his mouth. Chris, that's a hell of a big pet peeve there.
No kidding.
Chris Schomburg says for him it's blatant injustice, and Nelda Pound Slatter said it's arrogancy and entitlement. Diana Jacks told us when it was open cabinets for her, and Paula Hicks Butler said it's people who litter.
Yeah, I hate to see folks roll down a window and throw out a box of chicken, that they've eaten or stuff like that. It irritates me.
You're keeping an inmate busy, okay?
Well,
Tax dollars hard at work.
I guess you could look at it that way.
Plus you're feeding the birds and critters.
Well, that's true, too. And finally, Loretta Blackburn said it is old-ass racist mofos that sit at the bar all day long drinking coffee and feel like they're entitled. Jason Terry said it's smacking. When someone is eating near me and they chew with their mouth open, it makes me furious. I want to knee them right under the chin. Paula Hicks Butler, Diana Jacks, and Andrea Jones agreed. Either that or chewing ice.
I forgot that about Jason. It drives him crazy. Drives him
Yeah, if he could
plumb
put a
crazy.
knee upside your chin.
I've seen him do it before.
But I'll tell you, chewing ice. I mean, how many times you gone somewhere and you heard that?
Yeah. That's why I like soft ice.
If I want to hear that, I'll go out and listen to the horses chomp,
Don't stare at the goats.
That's exactly right. But it was a lot of fun asking that question and seeing how you reacted to it. We thank everyone for sending us their opinions in. When we come back, we're going to talk about patriotism. We had one of our listeners ask a simple question. Is patriotism dead in America?
Not in my house.
Not in my house. But he brought up some very interesting points, and we'll talk about those. But first, we're going to take a brief time out, and we'll be back with more of the Grandpa and Pappy Show right after this.
House for sale.
Home for sale.
Home for sale.
Home for sale. Home for sale.
We've got a home.
Available now.
Home for sale, home for sale.
I love that commercial. For sale by owner. Hey, we got a home for sale.
Get out, get your yodel on.
Pappy, we had an interesting question, and that was sent to us by Mark T. I think that's, if I remember some of the past opinions he sent in, I believe that's Mark Thomas, or Thompson.
Okay.
But he asked a simple question. Is patriotism dead in America?
And I don't
How
think,
do you feel about
I don't think it's dead. I think it will be if something's not done. If the silent majority don't pull their head out of their butt and step up.
What do you think, Karen? Do you think patriotism is dead?
I think the patriotism is getting killed by our communist news network and all those
Colleges.
news stations.
Yeah.
They are killing it
Yeah.
because they're not putting anybody up there that's really patriotic,
Well,
that believes in what our country stands for.
that'd be the entire Democratic Party. So,
That's a
Well, I
fact.
didn't want to mention.
What was it Mary
NWO.
Childers said? Her pet peeve was Democrats.
Yeah.
Love that. But Mark T. asked the simple question, is patriotism dead in America? So we ask you, our great listeners, what you thought. And we had some very enlightening opinions, which we'll share with you now. Like Jen Earhart, who said, not at all. It's just that most patriots do not see a need to make a big scene to announce themselves. They are silent but ready soldiers, watching and waiting for when they're needed. And then Eddie Dixon agreed, saying, amen to that.
And in the past, they've never had to do that. I mean, it's.
That's a good point. That's a good point, yeah.
But I agree. But I agree they need to step up.
Yeah.
Robert Mathis said it may appear that it's gone, but it's not. The silent majority of Americans will fight for our country and for what it represents. We don't advertise ourselves as being Billy Badasses, but when trouble starts, we're not afraid to step forward either.
I haven't heard that in a long time. Billy Badass.
Billy Badass. coming to a city near you.
Way to go, Robert. Thanks for bringing that back to my memory. I mean, I've heard that several times growing up, but I hadn't heard it lately.
Me too. You can tell by the shape of my nose.
I think one of the biggest problems we're facing in America now is our education system.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all these liberal professors
Yep.
that are out of all of these colleges are preaching nothing but socialism and communism. And American history, good or bad as it is what made this country so great and why everyone wants to move here.
Yep.
I mean, stop and think about it. Don't change a good thing. Bob Baker says, no, patriotism is not dead. I think a lot of patriots know what is about to happen and are deeply saddened by it. But when or if the time comes, they will respond. And it won't be a bunch of wannabes either. Belinda Tatum says no, and it is making a comeback.
It's got to be gone to come back.
Oh, here's Mark T. told us why he said it.
Yeah, the gentleman that provided us with this topic said the reason I asked that question was because me being confronted by a 20-something-year-old man complaining about me wearing an American flag T-shirt.
Oh, bull.
He really ripped me a new one until I'd had enough. I grabbed him by his collar and told him, this flag is why you lily-livered liberal bastards can't even speak out. I then proceeded to tell him that before you approach someone, especially in Texas, and begin spewing your left-wing crap, you best know who you're talking to.
Yeah, because you got to remember Texas is now an open carry state.
Just pull
that gun out and shoot you.
It is a permitless carry state, which I like.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I'm really sorry that it happened to you, and I'm not so sure Pappy or I, neither one would have reacted in a different way. I mean, we'll listen to it, but then, enough's enough, and, we may be old farts, but we still got a little spark in us left. So.
That's the one you better look out for.
Yeah, because they're packing.
That we realize we'll rock that orange jumpsuit.
I realize every year I get older, I heal a lot slower. Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to pick a fight, I'm just going to pull a gun and shoot them.
That's it.
I'll ask for forgiveness later.
We have that right.
Yes, we do. John Bossy said no, patriotism is not dead, but it is vilified by the ruling party and their propaganda machine, the mainstream media.
Yep.
Those who believe in the Constitution as written are considered the terrorist by the sitting president. Paul Westerfield agreed and added that all those punks here in colleges and schools now.
Ain't it so?
Oh, that's true. That is very true.
Our buddy Crawdaddy Crawford Young told us, I think we celebrate the soldiers more than we ever have, but we also have a disdain more than we've ever had for our leadership due to lack of integrity from our leaders. That's well said, Crawford. Mm-hmm. Mass media has much to do with it, along with the world market. You can't have high-ranking officials frequently getting caught in scandals and expect the people to turn a blind eye. The pen is mightier than the sword. The pen has just as much to do with patriotism as the rifle. That is very profoundly said, Crawford.
Yes, it is.
And very true.
Look at the current administration. In the first 3 days, he signed 20
God.
executive orders and took out everything that President Trump had worked so hard to build up, and our country was doing really, really well.
Yeah.
So you're right. The pen can be as mighty as a sword. Mm-hmm. Eddie Dixon said, I agree with Jen Earhart. The 3% is here, and we're just waiting. It's not dead, and you just don't know about the uprise or when it's going to happen. David Weatherby agreed by saying amen to that, brother.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mark T came back to say that other than my little spat with the liberal, you just don't hear a lot of talk about patriotism anymore. I agree with all that has been said on this site, but I would like to be able to hear it more out in public, which is exactly what we devised this site for.
That's exactly correct.
It wasn't being spread around. I am proud of our America, and I will stand and fight for her despite my 71 years. There is too much pride in our history of building to let it slip away.
71 years. Now, can you imagine? 71 years old, some little brat is in his face for wearing an American flag T-shirt, and he grabs him by the collar. Look, let me tell you how the cow ate the cabbage.
Lily, called him lily livered. That's some Clint Eastwood stuff.
Yes, sir. Leslie Rosenthal told us probably going to be dead soon because only the older generation are the patriots that built America up for this younger generation to tear down.
Yep.
Patriots have morals, pride, honesty, and love for your fellow American and our flag. What is this younger crowd learning? No more Pledge of Allegiance to the flag before class. No Dr. Seuss. Oh, and this one hurts. And Potato Head is not Mr. anymore. The list goes on and on.
I never called him Mr. Potato Head anyway. I know him well. I call him Tater.
Tater and Tater Tot.
That's his son's name.
Yeah.
And last but not least, to close out viewer comments, or not comments, but opinions on this segment 2 of this week's show. Billy Crenshaw mentioned to Leslie on YouTube saying he agrees to a large percent of what she is saying, but he believes there are more solid young people to carry on the traditions of this great country as the older generation passes away. Now, that might be debatable.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, there's some good ones out there, you know. I mean, or as we lovingly like saying, the ones that were raised right.
Correct.
Our great military is stocked with young people who believe in our country and are willing to die for her on any given day.
Yeah.
They have proved that over and over. Yes, there are a lot of young people out there who has had their brains poisoned by teachers and professors, but I believe there are more in this country who knew what freedom and being a patriot is all about.
And you know, I'm gonna agree with Billy Crenshaw.
I am too.
You know, the media has a lot to do with this because that's all you hear. They go out and find these liberal people to give us the spewed version of everything and broadcast it on the screens across America every night instead of going out and finding those grassroots kind of kids, you know, that will stand up for
like
what's,
Shane Garrity,
for what's right, you know.
Well, and I think it comes back full circle about the silent majority.
Agreed.
Because I mean, if that's the way you're raised, you're going to be silent. You know,
Sure.
If you're raised to be a hellion, a hellraiser, or even a Democrat, that's what you're going to be. You know.
Well, I'll tell you what. Time and time again in American history, those that are silent, that don't raise their voices a lot, are the first ones to cross that line and step forward.
That's the ones you better look out for.
Oh, yes, sir, and get the job done.
Yep.
And that's what this great country was built about. Thanks so much for all of your opinions today. Is
You guys are
patriotism
awesome.
dead in America? No, I don't think it is, even though you see it on TV every night telling us that it is.
Step up to a news reporter on your local channel and tell them how big of a patriot you are. We could use all the help we can get.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some of the viewer comments that we got in this week.
Okay.
Robert Newsom sent me a private message to me and said it was a pleasure meeting me at Burgers for Babies. And I do remember you, Robert, because we sat down and had a real good talk about the show. He says, I am definitely talking it up to all my friends to watch the show. Robert, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Right. And for all of those that came up to me at Burgers for Babies, and there were quite a few of them, thanking us for the show. We appreciate that more than you'll ever know. We love to hear that feedback, Pappy.
You bet you. Welcome aboard, Roberts.
Absolutely.
Good having you along, brother. Jerry Williamson commented on our show about where we were on 9/11. He said, I was at work in Longview, saw the second plane hit the tower, and knew something was not right.
Down there in your country.
Yeah.
Longview, Texas.
Tell them all at KYKX, I'll see what's up.
Yeah. James White said he watched our show on capitalism versus socialism and said he enjoyed all of the various comments. I just can't imagine any American who would want socialism in our country.
Yeah.
It makes you want to go out and hurt someone. What's the old saying? Going postal?
Yeah.
On somebody?
Patience my ass. I want to kill something.
Ain't it so?
Good way to look at it, James. I've experienced the same feeling several times.
That's greatness. Greatness.
Oh, man. Last but not least on this week's Grandpa and Pappy Show and viewer comments, Paula Myers said she and her mom watched our segment on whether to get COVID vaccines or not. They were interesting views expressed, but to be honest, there is so much misinformation out there, the average person doesn't know whether to take it or not. Please keep the legitimate information coming.
And we will do our best
That's
to
our
help you,
intentions,
Paula.
dear heart.
And thank you and your mom for watching that show. We appreciate it. It did bring out some rather interesting facts.
Well, that's exactly why I haven't taken one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the hell they're squirting in me.
Well, that's true. And a lot of people feel that way, Pappy.
I mean, I couldn't even take a flu shot, man.
We were
without going
talking to one of our
ER.
friends last night at the field office, and he is in a quandary right now. He is very high up in his company,
Yeah.
and they're going to mandate him to take the vaccine, and he doesn't want it, and he's not that far from retirement.
He'll lose his job.
Yeah, they've already told him. You know, he said, "I got to think on this."
Well, you saw on the morning news what United is doing. United Airlines.
What's that?
It's mandated. You have what is it? You have till Monday to get vaxxed, or give legitimate proof from your doctor why you can't be vaxxed, with the understanding you'll be tested before you get on that airplane.
Wow.
Well, this is all employees.
Wow.
So
Well, it's crazy. I'll tell you, the
kinda
world
makes
is
me
crazy.
wonder, what about passengers?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It was a lot of fun this week. Thanks to Mark T for his suggestion on one segment of the show. And if you have an idea, suggestion, or something you'd like for us to address or tackle here on the Grandpa and Pappy Show, it's always real easy to do it.
How can they do that?
Well, they can go on to our email site, which is grandpaandpappy@gmail.com.
Simple pimple. Or you can hit us up on our show site, or show webpage site, directly at www.grandpanpappy.com. That's grandpaandpappy.com, where you'll see that big old red button. All you have to do is push it and subscribe.
Doink.
All you got to do. It won't cost you one red penny.
Nah, just come up with a password that only you know, and that will let you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we want to get as many YouTube members as we possibly can.
Absolutely.
Our Facebook group page, which has well over 2,000 members on it.
Close to 3.
Yeah, we would appreciate it if all of you guys would go on and subscribe.
Yeah, and by the way, while you're on our website page, you have access to Instagram, Twitter, and our Facebook group page.
Absolutely, you sure do.
So you can see what we're all about, and see all the raw Magilla Gorilla on the Facebook page, because that's where we pull all our information from.
That's true.
And my feeble-minded friend over here has to usually edit most of it, but
But that's the fun of it, I guess.
Yeah,
but anyway,
where I learn all my
if you
dirty
go
words.
on our Facebook group page, you'll be able to see 98% of the opinions that are voiced and read here on the Grandpa and Pappy Show before it ever hits the air.
Absolutely.
It has been a lot of fun today. Once again, thank you so very much for all of you who attended Burgers for Babies, and for those of you who made a donation to the cause. Thank you very much, Pappy, and I really appreciate you doing that
And
for
for
us.
all you listeners and viewers out there, thank you too. We couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely.
It's your show. We just put it on.
That's it. And we're always listening.
By God.
It's been fun today, and we always close every show by telling you the same thing, because now more than ever,
Oh, yeah.
it rings so true. Reach out, hug your kids, and let them know you love them.
Let them know they're well loved right here at the Grandpa and Pappy Show too, by God.
Absolutely. Until we see you again, God bless you. God bless America.
Take
And
care of one another.
That's right. It don't cost you anything.
We're all we have.
That's it. Till we see you again, have a great day, and we'll see you then.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.